Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is the latest episode of the United Community Podcast, and we've got a busy one for us tonight. There's plenty to talk about. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done a podcast and it hasn't got any better for Manchester United. I just said before the intro, we're getting close to nearly having to change that intro song. Maybe not. I don't know. We're going to discuss it tonight. We're, of course, going to talk about Ruben Amorim, guys, and the backlash to, obviously, what's happened in the last couple of games. Well, obviously, good result against Chelsea, bad result against Brentford. We'll talk a little bit about that, the immediate reaction. Amorim under pressure. We'll talk a little bit about the squad issues. Plenty to get into. As always, Chris and Oisín are with us. Please do smash a like on the video, by the way, guys. Subscribe if you're new. And most importantly, get your comments in to the live chat as well. How's everybody doing?
Good. Oh, good. You?
Good. As good as we can, I suppose, at the moment. But Chris, look, I'm going to go to you first because you were obviously at the Chelsea game.
I was.
You travelled to Manchester, and great to see pictures of United jerseys outside a lot of stadiums. Take me on.
Thank you to Ben for that one.
You could have got any other sign other than that. Like,
Ben got it for me. Ben, as a gift from Ben and his daughter.
So. All right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Talk to me about how did you find how did you find Old Trafford, the game against Chelsea, the performance? Give us your thoughts on it.
I mean, Old Trafford is magical as always. I mean, just as I remembered it and everything. I mean, being there, the electricity from the crowd, the chanting, I didn't sit down for 90 minutes. So, the unfortunate thing was where our seats were, which is just to the side of the Stretford end, everything happened on the other side. So everything happened on the far side. So, and when you're at the game, you miss a lot of stuff and you're always wanting to watch it again and replay, but you don't get to replay. Like the Casemiro tackle, some of the goals, and if Bruno's offsides, the biggest thing is the one thing I think Old Trafford lacks is, they don't have a lot of replay screens or anything like that. Like if they're going to, and that's, so if you're kind of just sitting and waiting. And I understand now why when people are at the game, they say that VAR is ruining the game because you're literally sitting there just staring at this little screen that says under review, and you're waiting, and your phone almost tells you before the actual screen tells you what's happening and everything. So, but I mean, it was great trip. I mean, I can't, we did a lot in the short time that we were there and everything like that. But, I just think the Chelsea game at the beginning, we came out, unlike the Brentford game, we came out firing, and we came out after them, and we went after them. And that's what you want to see. And then for some reason in the Brentford game, we didn't go after them. And I agree with Amorim at that. We played the way Brentford wanted us to play.
Yeah.
And we let them dictate how we played. Against Chelsea, it was entirely different. I mean, we went after Chelsea. We didn't let them breathe. Even when Sanchez got sent off, we were going after him, and you could feel it that we were going to get something and everything like that. So, I just think that, the one thing that I am worried about with Amorim, because I'm still Amorim in, is that the inconsistency of how we play. And I'm still struggling on whether that's player mentality or is that management? Is that the manager going after him, or if they're just not doing as they're instructed? Like Amorim after the Brentford game came out and said, we practiced all this stuff all week because we knew how they were going to play, and they still let it happen. And that's, I mean, the manager can only do so much at that point. If the players let things happen, then I'm sorry. Then, that's a fault of the players. And I'll still give some negativity towards the coaching staff, but at the same time, players got to play. And against Chelsea, we played, and until the Casemiro got sent off, and we were appalled. Everybody around me was like, and we were all talking. He committed 2 fouls and got 2 yellow cards. There was no hey, the next one you're gonna get one or anything like that. in the second foul after watching it, the second yellow card, he didn't maliciously go in. I mean, it was soft. It really was. And I mean, granted, in the stadium, it looked worse because that kind of was closer to where I was and where he tackled him. And I'm like, oh, no, what are you doing? And, you know, you got to be smarter than that. At that point, you're on a yellow card, you know. And then in the second half, a lot of people were saying, oh, Chelsea dominated us. Well, they needed to get the points. So they were coming after us. And, yeah, they pushed. And honestly, and I don't agree with this, is that we kind of sat back. And I don't think we needed to do that because they had taken off Neto. They had taken off Cole Palmer. They had taken off guys that were going to be, like, worrisome for us. And that's why I kind of sat there and I was like, that's the part that I didn't really love. But I don't know many managers that you go in 10-on-10 and you already have a 2-0 lead that you're not going to sit a little bit. And I think that's just, like we always say, it invites pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Fast forward a week then, Oisín, obviously, you know, we have the debacle that was the Brentford game. From the performance itself, you know, from your opinion, I mean, what went wrong? You know, are we talking tactics? Are we talking mentality? Are we talking managerial decisions? Or, you know, a clusterfuck of a whole lot of them?
It's just everything in there together. I mean, you could probably count on maybe one finger any player who stood up Saturday. And even then, the person, the player I have in mind is De Ligt. And even then, he was nowhere near as imperious as he was the previous couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Our midfield was walked through. Ugarte, besides playing the ball forward, which was a hit and hope. It was only Dorg who got there to put it back across. I mean, other players would have given up on that. But he kept after it. But Ugarte was non-existent. Bruno is still not working in the six. It's not.
It's not
so it's square pegs, round holes. Then you've got the sliding door moment, and you know, you have to give Keith Andrews praise for what he did at the penalty, where he just slowed Bruno down and brought on the subs. You know, I was watching the red zone last night, and it's a very American football tactic. Like when you're going, you take your time out and you slow everything down. Ridiculous out of VAR that you have to wait 2 minutes to say whether it's a penalty and a sending off when Stevie Wonder could see it was a sending off. You know, he's not in control of the ball. He was never going to be in control of the ball. He was hitting that ball first time. He was never taking a touch. And
how can you be in control of the ball before it actually arrives to you? It just.
But does that mean now every time a ball comes in from a corner, no one's in control? Is that going to be like? Is that going to be classed as not being control of the ball because it's not there?
Well, I sent that. Sorry, Oisín, but I sent that video that said that if you look at the rules, it's not. It doesn't say they have to be in control of the ball. It just says that it's a clear goal scoring opportunity, and you know, in that he told him it should have been a red card. Everybody says it should have been a red card. I mean, there's not even. I mean, someone like Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer even said, and they don't say anything good about United. They even said it should have been a clear. Because Shearer came out and said the same thing you did, Oisín.
I mean,
said,
Dermot Gallagher said it today on Ref Watch on Sky Sports, and he never goes against.
Oh, he always goes with the on-field decision.
He said it was a red card. You know that Collins got away with it. So you have that sliding door moment of Bruno missing the penalty. Okay, he was iced out of it. I thought Bruno was a calmer player than that. I thought he wouldn't let that kind of stuff get into his head.
It's twice now.
Yeah.
I saw a stat that 50% of the missed penalties this year in the Prem so far have been Bruno. So there's been 4 missed pens. He's missed 2 of them. You know,
maybe it's time for a change on that. I mean, honestly,
I said it Saturday after he missed it. And Buemo's there, Cunha's there. Maybe change it up. Give the other team something to think about because Bruno's been taking our pens now for the last 5 years.
Yeah,
they've been sussed. You know.
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting to see will he relinquish that responsibility given the fact that he's the captain and. You know, because you know exactly what's going to happen on the flip side of that. Oh, he's weak. He doesn't want to take him anymore. He's given up the responsibility.
The other thing I would say about that is he's clearly lacking confidence at the minute, Bruno himself. You can see how he's carrying himself on the pitch. The number 6 position isn't suiting him. I said it a couple of weeks ago, the captaincy seems to be weighing on him. I don't want the captaincy taken off him, but you can kind of tell that there's more expected of him back there in the 6 as a captain than there would have been at the 10, and he's putting himself under pressure. And then you just have a disaster tactical class from Amorim where he made 750 subs and changed everybody he played Mason Mount as a left wing back. I mean, who does that? You know, I remember last year and the year before, I said I didn't know what Mason Mount's position was in the team, how he's going to fit in. It definitely is not a left wing back. We can now say that categorically it's not left wing back.
Correct me if I'm wrong now, but that's happened a couple of times with Mason Mount already this season.
Yep. But it's also the timing of the subs. I mean, he brought on Mason Mount. 4 minutes later, he brings on Xerxes. So Mason Mount can't even get into a flow at the 10 before he's pushed out then to the left wing back looking for Xerxes. I know, Chris, the last day you said when I made a comment in the chat, we have to go after it. But once we took off Ugarte, as poor and all as he was playing, we lost any solidity at the back. We lost any defensive backbone there. And Brentford walked through. And I know we were going for the win. But you can go for the win and still keep your head. And Amorim didn't do that.
And I'm not gonna debate that. But I mean, the problem is that, you know, he's going for it, and you're throwing guys out there, and you're throwing guys on there, and you're saying, hey, you have a somewhat position, but your job is to get in the box and score the goal. We're going after this game. And so I don't look at it, oh, well, you're going to, all right, now on defense, when they do get the ball, we want you to drop off and be a left wing back for right now. And then when we get the ball, just barrel forward and so forth and so on. Because you're going after
does that not negate then his whole system, how rigid it is? If you're just saying you're throwing on 5 players up front to go ahead to shelter.
Everybody says that the system's so rigid, and it's not. Everybody has to be able to move and flow and do the right. And even Cunha after the game in his interview said, we didn't do what we were supposed to do.
Show me any player on Saturday who moved anywhere in that system.
Well, that's what he said.
Well, and even the Chelsea game the week before, we were lucky that they went down to 10 men so early. I think once we went to 10v10, it was a different game, and they were on top. If they had scored earlier, I think they would have got on to draw.
We just talked about, but they were 2-0 down. They have to push. They were pushing. We didn't have to push. We had to lead. It's different when you're 10 men down. You go 10-10, and this is where I'll agree with you that I think was a mistake. Was Amorim? Everybody kind of sat back and let Chelsea come after us. I don't agree with that at all. I think we should have went after them as much as they come after us. But at the same time, like, I think that, like, in Cunha's interview after the game, he mentioned it. We didn't do what we needed to do as players. He said that, not anybody else. And that's Cunha coming in saying, we practiced this. We didn't do it. We need to be better as players. We need to be more accountable. We need to do that.
Well, is that Bruno versus Wolves 4 years ago when Ollie got the bullet? Don't blame him, blame us. Is that sliding door moment?
Well, I think
if you can't live in the past about what people say, and you got to look at what's going on now.
But I'm just talking about sliding door moments, and that's a very similar thing to what Bruno was saying before Ollie got the bullet.
And I understand that, but at the same time, Bruno had been with us for how many years, and Cunha just now came here. He's just now here, and he's already taken the mantle of we didn't do it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Amorim is not at fault. There are things that he's at fault at, and that I think he's at fault and everything like that. But with what's going on, like, and I agree with what he said, is that we let them dictate the game, which that in itself is a problem. Like, we let Brentford dictate the game. The games that we look good and we do good things is we dictate, and we did for some reason. I don't know what that is. We just didn't do it. I mean, I'm happy with Sesko that he got his first goal in the run of play and everything like that. But I mean, I look at a lot of things and I say, if I'm going to fall to Amorim, like, I watched the Newcastle game against Arsenal, the goal that Newcastle scored, they have a guy that's similar to Benjamin Sesko. They did a corner meant for him. Like, every time we cross the ball, it's to the far post. Like, it's like far post, head it back, and then we're going to head. You know, we did the same.
We did the same last year. It's back post to be blocked across the box.
And they try to. And you know how hard that is to accomplish. Like, that's like that. You're taking an extra step when you don't need it. You have a 6'5" forward. Put it in the mixer and let him go after it. And that's what Newcastle did. And guess what? He buried it. You know, and by all accounts, Sesko is probably better in here than that guy. and everything like that. So I'm just
we haven't
looking
seen
at
it yet. We haven't seen it yet.
Well, because everything goes over his head. But at the
Yeah.
same time, like, I'm like, these are the small things that I don't understand with the management is like, hey, you guys are professionals, cross the ball mid-goal, put it on his head, let him go get it. You don't have to. Go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
I think like I would be obviously more in agreement with Oshin here in terms of Amorim's rigidness. And I think the proof is that the most inexperienced manager in the league figured us out like that. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
understand that.
everybody knows how to play against Manchester United because it's so much open knowledge that, you know, he's not changing. This is how he's going to play it. This is how he's going to set up. There's no.
He's going to change a centre back during the game at the same time throughout.
He's going to change the centre back. There's no fluidity. There's no. Like I was watching Stephen Howson today, and he was talking about, you know, one of your wing backs just inverting and becoming one of the number sixes alongside a Ugarte or a Casemiro when you're on the attack. That allows Bruno to push further forwards. You got Dorgu on the far side with Cunha and Buemo Sesko. It's quite simple, you know, and we're seeing Oliver Glasner doing it quite comfortably with a so-called less talented squad. You know what I mean? I've got to. I'll ask you first, Oshin, and then Chris, you can follow up on it. Is it as simple as Amorim potentially just being out of his depth? Is he not good enough?
I just want to pick Chris up on something there. He says he doesn't understand why we play well against certain teams, right? There's a stat that says if you take away wins against promoted teams or oppositions that have had a player sent off, United have recorded just 3 victories under Amorim in the league since he came.
Fuck.
So that's why we're playing either a lesser team or a team with less players. That's why we're able to do that, you know? And that's a damning stat. But Jack, is he out of his depth? I don't think he's helping himself. I think he has the charisma. I think he's great in the press conferences. He came in and he comes across as a bit of a disciplinarian. He got rid of the deadwood we want rid of for years. So he's done some good in there. He's been found out clearly by every other manager in the league. Is he too stubborn? Yes. And I think that's why he's going to be out of his depth. He just has no inclination to change at all. And I think for him to stay in the job, that's one of the things he has to do. He has to say, look, I need to change here because this isn't working. I mean, the definition of insanity is what? And we're seeing it week after week after week, and it's not changing. So Chris. I don't want, look, I'm Amorim in. I don't believe we can keep sacking managers, especially with who's out there and available. Yeah, can we afford to go and pay compensation to a manager and then go to a club and pay compensation? Who do we go after? Do we go after Areola out of Bournemouth? Do we go after Glasner out of Crystal Palace? They're not going to come cheap. I mean,
well, they both have cheap release clauses because their clubs are both trying to get them to sign new deals. So that they're not.
Yeah, I know Glasner's deal is actually he's out of contract next summer, so he's got less than a year left. But
I mean, United aren't going to wait till next summer to do it, which is what Amorim wanted to do this year.
No,
you know, if United are going to change, it's going to happen during the international break. And
Ineos, what about this whole 1st of November scenario? So if he's sacked before the 1st of November, he'll have a 12 million payout because it's less than a year that he would have been in the job. And if it goes past the 1st of November, that amount that his payout will be drastically lower than that 12 million. Do you think maybe they're waiting until then?
We all know Ineos's track record with deadlines and release clauses and waiting and that kind of stuff, you know. I think Ineos don't want to sack him because this will be their second manager in 18 months. They've made mistakes with Ashworth. Barada wanted Amorim, even though he knew it was 3-4-3. Then didn't go out and buy him who he wanted. As in, he got him his forward line, but he didn't get him who he needed in this central midfield and a keeper. So hamstrung him that way a small bit. But with what we have there, he should still be getting a tune out of these guys, you know? But, I mean, I go back to Desi. I said it multiple times. How many managers have he had in the last couple of years who haven't been getting a tune out of these guys? There was green shoots at the start of the year. We looked amazing against Arsenal. They got a contentious goal from the corner. Set piece FC. We were unlucky against Arsenal. And it's amazing when you take Mount out of that starting 11, the difference in the opening pressing and the opening energy is night and day.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ineos will continue waiting until there's no other option, till we're in a relegation battle or we're just above the bottom three before they actually pull the trigger and get rid of him, because they want to look like they know what they're doing. And if they do that, then they clearly haven't made a great decision, or they haven't made any good decisions in 18 months with Ashworth, Ten Hag, and now Amorim.
Chris, pick up Oshin on that one. Obviously, look, is he out of his depth was the main question, but you know,
I don't think he's out of his depth. I think I will agree with Oshin that I think he's too stubborn.
Yeah,
and I think that's where this is going to become. This is what's. I agree with Oshin. That's what's going to get him sacked, is because he is too stubborn. And within the 3-4-3, as you pointed out, you with like Crystal Palace, Glasner, and everything like that, or that you can make slight changes in your system to make things different, which I would have thought would have happened. Like, I mean, we all know Diego Dallo, when he plays, he was better being an inverted fullback coming through. So to invert him on one side and have Dorgu barreling down the outside of another side makes perfect sense. And I wonder, like, are the players out of their depth and they're not realizing that? Or is that the manager saying, I refuse to think that the manager is saying you need to stay right here and right here only. Because if that's the case, then he does need to go. Because because it's at the same time, this is where I harp back on the players, is that you on the field, you need to make on the field changes. What's the manager going to do to you if you make an on the field change? Is he going to sub everybody off? No, he's not. What's he going to do? Yell at you? Like, coach, it's not working. We're going to do something else. And that's where I think the leadership of Bruno is lacking. And I think the leadership all over the pitch is lacking. Like in the game on Saturday, is that I don't know why Maguire was starting. De Ligt's better at the center of the three center backs. Like I don't understand that one, because
but these Chris are the small decisions that I'm talking about here, about him being out of his depth. I agree with you. You like, it's quite clear that Brentford's plan and has been all season is to suck teams out and get balls in over the top. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You play one of the slowest defenders. You play two of the slowest defenders we have. I would have rather Aiden Heaven and Yoro starting in that back three, because they're young and they've got a bit of pace about them and they can turn and move. He moves De Ligt out to the right-hand side where he's not as comfortable. He takes the most creative player in the league over the last 5 years and moves him further away from the goal into the 6. Mm-hmm. We have the best shot stopper in the world, according to the stats last season, in Le Mans on the bench. But yet he puts a lad with biscuit wrists in the goal who just can't save a fucking shot. These are the kind of decisions that, in my opinion, are proven maybe he might be a little bit out of his depth.
Yes and no, but and this is where I look at sports. This is where I don't agree with sports science and everything, where they say, well, he's played this many minutes, he's played that many minutes. Are you listening to the iPad more than you're listening to the player? And this is where maybe I'm too old school for this, where we're playing once a week. You should be playing the same starting 11 every week, unless there's an injury, or unless there's a knock or something like that. So if it's De Ligt in the middle with Euro and Heaven on as your three center backs, or I think in the Brentford game we missed Mazraoui, to be honest with you, to play on the right wing back, but he's got a knock, so he's out. But what you pick your starting 11, you go in each game and you play that starting 11. I don't care how good they practice. Guess what? This is my starting 11. And this is, unless someone just doesn't have it that day and you can see it, then you make the substitution. And I agree with Oshin. And this is where, it's a bunch, like, and a lot of managers do this. A lot of managers make the same kind of subs and everything like that. But like making the subs of why are we subbing a center back at the 60-minute mark? Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. Like, unless somebody
32 out of 37 games he's done it or something.
Yeah,
every game he's changed a center back.
And I don't understand that. And I will harp on that. And I will say that I don't like that. And I don't, but the problem is when you look at the midfield, In our last podcast, I said I wanted to see Kobe make Miney play. I said I wanted to see him give him a chance. And I know Ocean's going to kill me for this, but I also said move Bruno to the 10 and put Embuemo, even though Ahmad was out for personal reasons, play him at the wing back position because he's on the wing. He was playing out there all game anyways. And he's not playing as narrow as he should, which, because the funny thing is when we had some things happen, where did he play? He's playing narrow inside. When he got that ball for the penalty kick, when he got fouled, he's playing narrow. He's not playing way out on him. And this is where I'm having a problem. And I'm still Amorim in because I like what he does, but and I agree, and I hate to say it, but he has to open things up, meaning you have to open it up and say, we're gonna, and I'm not saying change the system or tactically or anything like that, but you have to put some different decisions or different ideas into the team so they can do different things. And that's where I have my problem. And
so this is points after 33 games. And there's a trend here. It gets worse as the managers go. Say Louis van Gaal, obviously take Moyes out, but Louis van Gaal was the best, then Mourinho, then Ten Hag, Solskjaer, and Ruben Amorim. I mean, I understand, and I agree with you, Chris. He does have to be willing to change and adapt. And I do think you could see a relatively decent, I suppose, improvement in form and I think we've been a little bit unlucky as well, when we talk about the penalties and so on and so forth. And I just don't see how he can change it so drastically that it will even get us challenging for European football.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you, and we can go back and check the tape. I didn't think we were going to challenge for European football after the window closed because we didn't buy any midfielders. And that's
well. Let me ask you that question then.
Mm-hmm.
Did we recruit correctly in the summer?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, as good as Benjamin Sesko is, I would have used that money to go buy Adam Wharton or somebody in the midfield. Because to be honest with you, for what we do with our center forward, I think Rasmus Højlund would have been just as good as Sesko at this point.
Mount is the false nine. It worked for the first few games.
Well, that's the same thing. Like, you could put Mount up there. I mean, the problem is Mount's going to get injured. We all know that. So, but even if you have Højlund in the team, I think he's going to be doing the same thing that Sesko's doing right now. And this is no slight on Sesko because I think he gets the raw end of the deal because he's not getting service and he's not getting what he needs. He does make some good off the shoulder runs, and he's trying and he's doing some things. But the problem is that I think that, like Jack, you alluded to, we took the number one, the most creative player in our team, and we moved him away from goal when he should have been a little bit higher up on the pitch, So, and then I think we did recruit wrong. I would have waited to buy that striker if you're not going to. I mean, I know we needed one, but we needed a midfielder better,
But when you, and look, it is obviously in hindsight now, it's easy to say these things, but I mean, when you remember the lack of goals that were in that team last year, it was absolutely, it was unbearable. The lack of
goals. Hasn't improved much, though, in fairness, Jack, has it?
Well, look, I mean, look, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I agree. But when you see, I suppose, 2 of the 3 signings have scored already.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying, like,
United had 6 shots on target Saturday, and 3 of those were before Sesko's goal.
Yeah. Look, Saturday was terrible. You know what I mean? But if you look at the attacking metrics, and I know the eye test doesn't lie, and I understand that, but our XG, our touches in the opposition box, our shots are all up there with the best in the league. Is it a case, Oisin, maybe that, when you put 3 brand new players together, it's going to take a little bit of time to gel? Or are you already hamstringing yourself because that's an issue when you have 3 new players? Like we said, we're taking away one of the most creative players and moving them further back.
Yeah, I mean, you put 3 players who've never played together and they're going to take time to gel. And the fact he didn't play Sesko for the first 2 games after he signed made it even harder for them to get to know one another. And Cunha was injured for the 2 games. So, I mean, this was really the second game where they've kind of played as a front 3.
Yeah. First time they started together.
Yes.
Sorry, because he didn't. Cunha didn't start against Chelsea, did he?
No.
So I mean, you saw Sesko win that knock on from Buemo to run on to Raya. You could see what Amorim wants his front three to do. Work off one another, get in behind.
But you look at the Chelsea goal when Sanchez got sent off, it's because Sesko wins the ball in the air.
That's what I'm talking about. There was a knockoff from Buemo to run onto. Yep. So they are showing signs of getting to know one another, but does Amorim have that time? Is he running out of time for these people to gel? Do we go back to myself and Chris's pet peeve of this summer, which was the time it took to get these players in? And look, again, hindsight is great. And at the time, we were very adamant that, that 6 weeks was 6 weeks lost. We ended up paying more for him in the long run. And he lost time getting to work on partnerships with Cunha. And then we could have got into Sesko quicker because I think we were waiting for Mbuemo before we moved on a striker. So that 6 weeks looks to have been an even bigger loss now when we look at what's happening on the pitch. I think what needs to happen, and there's only one of two things can happen here. The first is Amorim swallows his pride for the next 5 or 6 games and plays a 4-4-2, a 4-3-3.
Yeah, I had to say 4-4-2 first. I knew that was coming.
A 4-2-1-1-1 or whatever he wants to play, but just solidify what he has, get players on the pitch, work with people. Then once we're comfortable mid-table, that's the kind of team we are now at the moment, where we're relegation form. We're actually ahead of where we probably should be going on points per game, really, if you want to look at it that way. And then once we're solidified and once we have a good footing, then we can start bringing 4-3-3 and a 4-3-2-1 or whatever he wants to call it. That's not going to happen. So the flip side of that is, what's the other option? We're going to get dragged further down, and he's going to lose his job. Mm-hmm. They're the two outcomes from what I see, from what I've seen on Saturday.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, because it's the fact that if you look at how we play, I'm not trying to harp on him, but when Maguire's in the game, the back three is different. When De Ligt's in the center, De Ligt is pushing through, and even Shaw does not step forward he invites things this way instead of going this way and pressing forward. And I get it. And like the Maguire thing, it's kind of like, was it a year ago when Casemiro was playing center back and he didn't get forward fast enough, and when we had Ten Hag, that's what happened to Maguire, because Maguire was dogging it going to a half line and not getting. If you have a forward there, he's got to be close to him, and whether he bodies him for a second or not gives you that opportunity, even if he's faster, that he's not going to be able to just get a free run at the ball, and that's what ended up happening. And that's a problem. And then Dalot, and I don't know. I know why he was playing, because we didn't have Mazraoui, but Dalot let De Ligt. He was 2-on-1. He didn't even follow his man back. So De Ligt's in the middle of both of them going, oh shit, I'm stuck and everything like that. And then they got the second, and I'm like, this is just kind of asinine. It's just stupid mental errors, and I'm going, come on. It's just, it bothers me, but I think if he would just open things up even more and let him have a little bit more freedom to do different things, then, I think that you could see the inverted wing back come, like a Dalot coming into midfield to push Bruno farther up. Does that change the formation?
Dalot shouldn't be inverting. Dalot should be going in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Up the steps and
Dalot should be sitting down
and out through the fucking concourse.
Okay, so let's put it this way. Jack, you made a good point on the watch along, is that you'd like to see Mazraoui play in the 6. Well, if he's playing in the wing back, he can slide into the 6, and Bruno can go further forward, and that way he can, support and be more creative with the 2 10s, and then you're almost in a 3-5-2, if you want to say it in that realm or anything like that. And that's the problem. Is certain when like in Ocean, and alluding to what Ocean has said for a long time, once we get past our initial 12 or 13 players, they're just not good enough. And they're really not. So when you're making all these subs, it's like, oh shit, we're not good enough. Like it's just like we're just not. And you're bringing on all these other players, and you're just like, and to be honest with you, the 12 or 13, we were minus Ahmad and we were minus Mazraoui, so then you're going even farther into the bench at that point. And I'm just like, I don't love it. And going into the Brentford game, I don't harp on the fact that he brought all these, because he's just throwing attacking players on to see if we can get a goal. And that's all it was. And that's the way I look at it.
Right. I'll ask you first then, Chris. We'll get down to the nuts and bolts of it here. Do you stick or twist with Ruben Amorim?
Can I ask one question? Like,
yeah.
Give me a time frame. Like, are you oh shit. Are you talking, are we saying November 1st? Or are we, is there like,
yeah, let's go with the November 1st deadline. Do you stick or twist?
I stick with them till November 1st.
And beyond,
depending on the outcomes. I mean, as much as I'm in, I have to look at it and say, and I have to agree with you, Jack. You have to do better. We have to be better. And if I don't see us getting better, then we have to twist on them at that point. We gotta let them go at that point. Now, when we let them go, I don't know who else. Like, I mean, Ocean did a chart of the managers that are available and everything like that. None of them are. If any of them that I would have liked to see, he just got hired to be the West Ham coach. Nuno, but at that point,
he comes with his own baggage as well, though.
He does. But at the same time, I look at it and I go, you look what he did with the Forest team, So, and I think the only reason why he's out of that job is because him and the owner fell off. And that owner is not the easiest person to get along with. So at that point, you look at that and I go, that's the guy I probably would have liked to see if Aaron was going to go. But if you're going to ask me, of the 3 managers that you could pick that are not in a job right now, what is it? Thiago Motta. I would say that but again, he's more of a 3-4-3 guy too. He's not, so that's,
yeah. Well, let me ask Oisin the same question then before Desi will come to you. Then we'll get your thoughts on it. I'm interested to hear what you would say, because you've always been very positive about Amorim. So, Oisin, stick or twist?
Well, look, it's a gamble either way.
Yeah.
Stick with him. He doesn't change. We go further down. We twist, and he's shown the door Monday morning. And it's a panic by Ineos, knee-jerk reaction. He'll get his 12 million payout. Who's out there that we can get? On that list, there was maybe Xavi and Mata, maybe. I mean, going back, Solskjaer's a step backwards. Hag's a step backwards.
Come on, Jack. Stay out of that shit.
Potter, I mean,
no.
Southgate. Of those available, Bruno Lag was another one. Hasselhoutl out of Southampton from a while ago.
Yeah,
none of those are attractive prospects. I mean, if we lose to Sunderland on Saturday,
which we could very well do.
Sunderland are playing great football.
Yeah,
they're playing very good football. We're not. We are shot on confidence. You asked us last week how many points would we get over the next 5 games, and I said 5. And I said we would lose to Brentford, and everyone laughed at me.
I didn't laugh. I was just being hopeful.
No, you laughed. I'll give you all the lotto numbers now in a minute when we're finished off screen, right? But what I do think is, if we lose to Sunderland, he's gone for the international break.
I agree.
And then no one's expecting anything out of Liverpool anyway, realistically, besides us fans. No one's expecting us to go and turn Liverpool over. We'll go and hope to get an early smash and grab and hold, which we can't do. So as long as it's not a spanking, a 7 or 8-0, he'll keep his job after the Liverpool game.
Amorim doesn't play to smash and grab. He never did.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But as long as we don't get spanked.
Yeah.
As long as we don't get 6, 7, 8-0, he'll keep his job after that as well.
Yeah. Desi, I suppose. Oh,
And
sorry. Go on,
that's
finish.
concerning in a way too.
Yeah, absolutely. Desi,
Hold on. For Desmond's thing, I'm gonna get my pretzels ready.
No, look, Desi, look, you've been quite positive over the last few weeks. Anytime we've been talking about, it'll be okay, give him time, so on and so forth. How are you now after the last couple of weeks? Obviously, we haven't spoken in a while. So are you still along them same lines, or do you think maybe it's gone too far now and a change is needed?
Well, to be honest, Jack, I thought he would have walked after the Grimsby game, because I did say that in the chat, like, So as much as I've been positive, I thought he'd walk. It's a cunt of a situation, really, when you look at it, because who have you got to come in? You're going for a total reset again. Is that the right thing? But it could be, looking at, football as a results-based business, Jack. We all know that. No matter what, a big club like United, you have to find a way to get results, and it looks like his stubbornness is gonna see the end of his job, which is it's very disappointing, because he's the type of coach that you want to do well. He's the type of coach that you actually believe, and he's kind of too honest at the best of times. I still don't believe in. I don't think that if we get a manager, I think if we change manager, we could see some improvement short term, but I don't see big improvement long term, because you're going to end up with a total reset. You have to buy in a new group of players again, and I think that when you look at the squad itself, Jack, I don't care what anybody says. We should have shored up the back six. From the keeper should have been the first boy in the summer, because that was the problem. We can't. People say, like, when you look at Hoyland and you look at Sesko now, Sesko looks like Hoyland. Why? We can't get the ball to these players. We cannot get the ball to these players. We haven't got the player profile that he needs in those positions to get to progress us up the park, to have that catch the eye football. Bruno is not a 6. I don't see Maguire as a standout player or a world. He's a great 7 to the club. We can say this as many times as we want. He is not going to bring us to the next level. We should have bought a centre back and at least bought another number 6. And the reason for me always saying is that we should have sold Bruno is because we needed to sell him to suit the system. He's not going to fit into this system, I don't think. Especially when you go out and buys the likes of Mbeumo and Cunha. You're then kind of retaining Bruno to play in a 6. And it's not his position. He's a creative player. He wants to play high up the park. He wants to look for passes in behind the lines, and he's too deep. So we should have sold him for the money that we were getting for him. But then the catch-22 is who was available when we sold him. I'm going to say stick with. I'm going to say stick, and obviously it looks like United don't do business in January, so it's going to be another long cunt of a season with going into every game wondering, are we going to turn up? Will we get a good style of play, or will we not? And get to the end of the season and shore up that back 6 and give him the players that he needs to play the system in the way that he wants to play it. If he's going to stick with that system and be stubborn about it, and then we go into next season, Jack, and if it doesn't click or we don't see any sort of improvement, then we're in the position to say, you've had enough time now. We've put enough money into you, on your bike. Move on.
Yeah.
And then you could be shooting yourself in the foot, because then you've bought a load of players to suit a completely different system,
The one thing I would say about that is I think the players we've bought fit multiple systems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the Cunhas, the Mbuemos, the Seskos, they'd play a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1, whatever the case may be.
And they play a 4-4-2.
I did 4-4-2. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I can't believe we're talking about next season in fucking September already. You know what I mean? But I can't disagree with what you're saying,
Jack,
either.
This is a repair stage that United is in. This is not going to happen overnight. We look at a quick fix, start winning games tomorrow, go on a run, happy fucking days. It's not going to happen. The club has been badly run for X amount of years. We have overlooked it time and time again. And now we find ourselves in the scenario that we probably should have been in a couple of years back, but we were lucky enough not to be in it. And now the shit has hit the fan. We're in deep shit. The manager can't get a tune out of the players that we currently have in the team for, I don't know, many years. Luke Shaw is stealing a living. Casemiro is stealing a living. Maguire is stealing a living, even though he's a great servant to the club. These players are not the players to play, even in the system. No matter what system you have, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. These players are not going to get us to the next level.
So you're saying it's more of a mentality thing, and we need to continue weeding it out then?
We 100%. We have to strengthen this squad. We've done a really good. Listen, you can look at the transfer window, and we did, and from last year we all said, "Jeez, we're not scoring goals, and we need a striker because Hoyland's not doing the job." And we kind of done a transfer window. We tried to build the house from top down. We have to build the house from bottom up. We have to first be able to get the ball to these players, and we went from top down. Now it puts us in a position where we can't score at the minute because the back six, in my eyes, are not good enough. They're not good enough. There's a few fucking players in there that are letting us down big style. And we need to really have a full depth squad at his disposal. And then if it doesn't happen, Jack, then we knife them. And then we'll have a good group of lads, hopefully. We'll have none of that shit that we had previously. And the next manager that does come in, if he does not get the results out of the team, will come into a half, or if not, a decent squad to go at it. And I think
I just want to make it clear we don't want to knife anyone here on the if he doesn't get it right this idea, we knife him.
Yeah. No, listen, Jack. I'm going to be. A lot of fans won't like me for it, and I totally understand. But stick. It's going to be rough. Yeah, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree with Desi. I mean, I got to say that I agree that, I mean, we all knew that we want instant results, but we have to understand we're not going to get them. And I agree that we should. And like I said, as much as I like Sesko as a player and everything like that, I would have been happier finding a number 6 come in, whether that be a Baleba, whether that be Adam Morton, whether it be Holman. I don't care who it was. Pick your poison and put them in there and everything. Or
you know what, again, right? People saying we need to change shape and all was so bad. Listen, there's two aspects to this game: attack and defend. Pretty clear cut. The problem is that when we're defending, we're like piss. Just go. It's just so bad. There has to be an element here where when you lose the ball, Jack, you know how to get back into shape off the ball and win the ball back. We're everywhere and we're absolutely nowhere at times. And it looks like
I think a lot of that comes down to team selection as well. You know, we spoke before you come on, Desi, about, you know, Harry Maguire playing and De Ligt being pushed out right. I think the 4 players in midfield naturally are not able to play any of the positions that they're being asked to play. You know what I mean? So
everywhere, Jack, and they're absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
They're nowhere on the pitch, and it's just so easy for other opposition to play against us. Defensively, we're so bad. Like, people, I laugh when I see, stuff going up. I think defensively today we were all right. We conceded fucking 2 or 3 goals. What are you talking about? How is that all right? They look solid. They conceded 2 goals, lads.
Well, and look, I can understand that argument from the other side as well, because you have to say there's been a lot of individual errors being made. You know what I mean? I think
individual errors, Jack, from players that are not good enough.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely, 100%. But I think there has been games this season where we look defensively a lot better than we did last year. You know what I mean? Especially when De Ligt is playing in the middle, Lenny Yoro, and, you know, obviously Luke Shaw has been playing pretty much every game. You know what I mean?
Do you not think that then, right, when you look at those 2 centre-backs, you look at De Ligt and Yoro, you're saying to yourself, who else have I got? I've got Maguire. Who else plays in there?
Aidan Heaven. Luke Shaw.
Right? Shaw. Surely they looked at that and went, we need to at least have another good centre-back there, ball-playing centre-back, to cover if at least one of those go injured, because we're light anyway. And the players that we have are not good enough to even at the Premier League now, and the lower teams, even the teams that are coming up, are catching up with the game, playing better football. You're not going to get away with it anymore. You might have got away with it a couple of years ago when, you know, the bigger clubs had more money than the lower clubs and they had all the best players. But now there's such a good standard of players across the whole league. You get caught out. And any team will catch you if you're not good enough. And we needed another centre back. We needed a 6, and we went there and went, oh, we got Mbeumo, and now all of a sudden we're gonna be great. I did think we'd take off, we'd be a lot better, but it hasn't happened. And down to the back, when you can't get away from the fact that back line and the 2 6s, it's killing us. It's been killing us anyway midfield for a long time. I remember last year, at the start of last year, I can't remember what it was. I think it was Fulham. They came to Old Trafford and they absolutely rinsed us off the park through the middle of the park. I couldn't believe I was watching. And that was I don't know what system was that, 10 Hags.
10 Hag, yeah.
You know, and it's the same players, Jack, in a different formation. They played us off the park. We looked like we were non-existent in the middle. And it was the same fellas that we had. So when are we going to take responsibility and say, look, these lads have not performed in a 4-2-3-1 system. They're not performing in a fucking 3, whatever Amorim's playing now. And what makes you think they're going to perform in a 4-4-2, 4-5-1? Put 20 players in the middle of the park, they'll still get through us because they're not good enough. And that's my argument. We can say what we want. I think Sesko's a brilliant player because you don't lose that ability overnight. I think Mbeumo tore the Premier League apart last year with a less team than us. And they probably, you can't, that's fucking harsh saying that about Brentford when you look at our season last year. But he tore it up. You've Cunha who done really well for Wolves. And they look a smidgen of the player that they were. Now, they have looked bright for us, but they don't look acting like they did when they were with those clubs. Nothing.
And the concern is how long before they start to look like Luke Shaw or like fucking Delaware or whatever.
But going back into that, and I think Desi touches on it, is because when they do look the part, if you look at the back line, it's a back line of, and we agree that Shaw is the outlier, but it's Shaw, De Ligt in the middle, and Euro on the right side. It's because those players, for the most part, push forward and make everybody press. When Maguire is in there, everybody sits back, and it all starts from the back. Everybody here is playing. If you're not moving forward as a team, and you're leaving those spaces, because I'll be honest, when I watch De Ligt and he's playing in the center of the park, he's following the center forward like on him and not letting him turn, not impressing and stepping through. Against Chelsea, he was stepping through guys and winning the ball and everything like that. Like, that's the difference. And I think that when you
the fourth goal the other day, Chris, for Brentford, and everybody look at Maguire. I guarantee you, if Euro's there, he doesn't give your man that much, and then he's on him. You look at Maguire running back, and you're thinking, how can he play in this system? And that is the way the system works. You need someone really athletic.
And how many times have we seen Lenny Yoro get back and put in a challenge when he's, trying to make up the ground?
This is this type of profile player that he needs in there, and that he needs to shore up that, so that when we are doing that and it's really aggressive and brave, and that we're leaving so much space in behind, that we have that big athletic centre back to bomb back. And first of all, he won't give him that much anyway, because Maguire gave him way too much, and no way. If Maguire had to be looking at him there, even taking a half look, going, I'm a little bit off here, I'm not going to catch him. He never, and your man was gone. He looked a mile offside. It wasn't just because Maguire was so slow.
But can I ask so, guys, because Jack and Des, you both coach, right? Why would you pick Maguire over Yoro? Why would you think Amorim's done that?
The only reason why he picked Maguire, I think it's probably the easiest thing for me to see, was because of the set piece threat of Brentford. That's it. You know, they've got a set piece manager coach now with the long throws, the corners, whatever the case may be. And Maguire is a little bit more physical in the air. That's it. That's the only reason you would pick him.
You know what's even more scary though? You touched on it. You said something there like try and smash and grab at Liverpool. Like, there's even yesterday, Jack, and I know like we're nowhere near that standard, but we were in a game yesterday and it's touch and go and we get a goal, and then You decide to yourself, big lad there, plays centre back from us, bring him on. They had a bomb of a throw. This lad could have thrown a mile if he wanted. And you bring on this big lad, head balls out and keep us ahead in the game with a couple of minutes to go. You don't. That's what is frustrating about Amorim. When you look at the fans, like, even if we do score a goal, let's say 10 minutes to go, he won't change it. That's frightening to me, because you're saying we can actually get out of here with a win if you just shore it up here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's really concerning. It's really concerning at the best of it.
What we Oisin, go on, finish your point there. What you were mentioning.
I was just going to ask, but we said at the start of this podcast that Brentford all season have been sucking the defense out and running in behind. So why was he going just purely on the set piece? Why was he not looking at every other game Brentford have played, which is how they've played the majority of their game so far, is bringing their forwards as far up the pitch as they can to then get in behind and use their pace. Yeah. That's why I'm trying to get into a coach's mind to say, why would you pick possibly your slowest centre back?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
we spoke an awful lot about when Ten Hag was manager, didn't we? And some of the decisions he was making, and a lot of it was focused around substitutions and stuff like that. We've got to be just as critical with Amorim. He's made some very, very strange decisions.
And I am critical, because I don't think Maguire should have been on the field in that game.
But he also took off Sesko last week against Chelsea. It was a knee-jerk reaction. You know, there was no need to bring off Sesko. I mean, that's why we look so good against Chelsea for the first half. We were playing against 10 men, and Maresco absolutely shat the bed and took off his most attacking players. That's why we got, and I know, Chris, you see it differently, and you were there, but what I saw on TV was Maresco shat the bed, then he lost Cole Palmer, which means they had no out, which meant we had 40 yards before we hit their first player that we could play forward. Then when we went to 10v10 after Casemiro got sent off, it got more compact. But he took off Sesko then, which gave us no out ball. So that's a confusing kind of substitution as well to make, in my opinion. He could have taken off who played instead of Cunha that game. Was it Ahmad played on the left? I'd have taken off Ahmad because he did nothing in that whole game and left Sesko on as an out. So that's a concerning and confusing substitution for me as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of
Jack, are you stick or twist? Nobody asked you the question yet.
I want Amorim to stay, but I also want him to change. You know, the current Amorim that we have, I'm twist. You know what I mean? He's got to do something. Desi, we were talking there. You mentioned, you know, making a change or something like that. I've said it a few times now. If I was playing a certain formation with a bloody B team on the weekend and it wasn't working after 20 minutes, I'd change it. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm really, really worried. His inability to be anywhere flexible is frightening. You know, and you were saying there, how are you going to see out games? How are you going to counteract what other teams are doing? How are you going to surprise another team with, you know, springing this lad in a certain position or whatever the case may be? Like, we had no idea.
Jack, we never see. Like, if let's say you're coming up against me in the game and you know that, this is Desi, whoever, he plays 3-4-3, but he's never going to change during the game. That's so easy for you.
Yeah.
The other manager must sit there going, I'll just rub my hands for this game.
Yeah.
Because if I can catch him out, he's not even going to change anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
my
100%.
My only issue with that, and I know I'm not trying to make excuses because I agree that he needs to change, but against the Brentford game, besides Maguire, you know, Maguire shouldn't have been playing and Delic should have been there and Euro should have been in. We didn't have many options because Casemiro's not there, so you don't have many options at the sixth. I mean, Kobe Mainoo's there that I wanted to see him play, you know, and I mean, the thing is, it's like, and Ocean's going to kill me again, but put Bruno at the 10 and move Emblemo out because we didn't have Ahmad there anyways, you know, and it seems that Emblemo likes to play out on the wing and everything like that. But like you said, make a change so it, you know, with the lack of players that we have available, we had no Mazraoui, no Ahmad, and everything like that. You've got to be able to, you know, you can't just throw it out there and be like, well, this is what we have, and everybody's looking at it going, they're cooked. And because that's what it seems like right now, and I agree with you that my problem is right now is that people look at us and say we're cooked. or they're going to cook us because that's
You
the
know
way.
what Wayne Rooney said in his podcast, which is really true, Jack. There's no player on the United team anymore where he gets the ball and you go, shit, he's on it. Go on. You just don't.
Yeah.
I would
There's
say
none of
one.
that exciting player that really.
I would say Cunha has that.
Yeah.
I can't agree with Rooney on that. I do agree with what Rooney said that there's no leaders there. There is no
Yeah.
leaders on the pitch from 1 to 11. De Ligt maybe, but I mean we have no leaders on that pitch, which is frightening for United team.
Let me read out a couple of the comments here. We've been very quiet on the chat. D says, Jack, lads, let's be saying it how it is. I've been the biggest backer. The lads know this. I defended him to the hilt, but it's time. It's just not working. The same players are also failing, and it's the same folk that have failed previously, and it's just not going to work. It's time for a refresh, and we've become so accustomed to a new manager with a new philosophy, and it's unfortunate. Luke says, all right, he's got a new Northampton Town away shirt. Fair play to you. Happy days. I should have screened that one. We'll be, and then D says we'll be playing Northampton shortly if it continues. Me says he won't be sacked next week. That's 90% fact. Jim is tied. If he sacks him now, he has to pay him 12 million. If he waits to the 1st of November, it's only 4. Let's see. He also says no team is good enough to play 5-2-3 in the Prem. Don't say Palace. Palace play 3 at the back. They play 3-4-3. 3-4-3. You know what I mean? They're just able to rotate in and out a bit better. What else we got?
Solid 6s. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Warren says it's clear people know how to play against us regardless of the team we select, but surely we also know how Brentford were going to play, and we played right into their hands. Me also says 50 minutes versus Arsenal, 15 versus Fulham, 15 versus Chelsea, maybe 5 combined in the other 3 games. Barely 90 minutes of good football played this season across 6 games. Changes have to happen. So yeah, there we go. I think we'll leave it at that.
My problem is though, even if let's just say a new manager comes in and you want to play a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1 or it, like Desi says, it's the same players. It's the same players and they're going to do the same shit. And that's the issue.
You get 4 good matches out of them, Chris.
What's that?
You get 4 good games out of them, and then they'll slowly drop back into their old routine. It's not going to happen. We need to shore up that midfield. We need a really good, creative midfielder as well that can play that 6-role box to box and see how we get on.
Have we not got one in Kobbie Mainoo?
We have, but he's not getting a fair run of games, Jack. And I don't know what way he feels. Yeah. If I was him, I'd be feeling really hard done by right now. But is he willing?
He wants to go into the transfer window. I mean, that's how he feels. He wants out.
Yeah.
He wants to go in the transfer window.
Well, but I had read and I'd heard that Amorim and staff was working with Mainoo on his defense, and the issue is his defensive part of the game, which I know it's going to say Bruno's not much better, but the defensive part of his game, and I thought this was going to be his chance that he was going to come in and play.
There's a few players that need to work in the defensive game. Let me tell you, not just Kobbie Mainoo. He can work on him on once.
But Amorim has had all these players for a year, and there's no difference there.
Yeah,
if his concern was Mainoo's defensive, why not work with him for that year in the close season, get him up to speed, and then play him? Why hasn't he not done that?
Yeah, that's something that I would be hypercritical about Amorim for, is that everything he said last season he's gotten now. You know what I mean? We need a transfer window. You've had it. We need a pre-season to bed in his ideas. You've had it. 1 game a week. You have it. And it hasn't improved. You know what I mean? Now, that's not to say it won't, but I mean, the sample size is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just not improving. You know what I mean? So
my problem is though, I mean, how much I know we don't know this and we're not allowed to watch, but like what happens at Carrington that he's not picking these players? Like what's happening in practice during the week that he's not? I mean, from what he says, and I'll take him at his word, if you put forth the effort and you practice and you do what is asked of you, you should be in the team. And why all of a sudden?
What's he asking of Bruno then? Bruno's been so poor the last couple of weeks. what is Amorim asking of him to justify his place in there?
I think it's a good question. I mean, but if Bruno's playing, I mean, on the training pitch, if he's doing everything if he's on the training pitch doing everything that's asked of him, and he's doing 100%, and in the game he falters, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Ocean, I don't know, but I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I would be okay with Bruno sitting a game. You know, to give
I think everybody will be.
To give Manu a run, to give Cunha and Emblemo to take that pressure out and say,
I think
okay,
Bruno
guys,
needs a break as well himself. I think Bruno has to get on a spotlight.
I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, like if you give him that, if you sit him and you just give him a break and everything like that, and say, all right, well, you know, maybe if this is the issue, and then it goes forward, then you know everybody's got to work his way back, and you know, I'm not opposed to that. I really am not.
Right, we better leave it there. We're nearly an hour and 10 now.
Someone's at Jack's door there going, "You're over time."
I'm gonna come in that door now in a minute. And
Go ahead and sing it, Jack. Go ahead and sing it. Go ahead and sing it.
No, I'm not singing it. No, I only sing it when I'm in Old Trafford and I have about 7 or 8 Guinness in me. Other than that, I'm not singing it. Right, boys. Look, I appreciate you coming on as always. And we'll be back as always, everyone, next Monday with the podcast. Boys, have a great week, and I'll chat to you during the week. All right.
Take care.
Lads, appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching as well, guys. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. Yeah, look, it's been a difficult weekend, and no doubt there'll be more things to talk about. I'll be back again on Wednesday. Keep an eye out for a couple of pre-recorded upload videos between now and then as well. Going to be working on a couple of things in the meantime. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for getting involved in the chat. Have a great rest of your day. I'll chat to you tomorrow. Take it easy.